Hello and welcome. In this video we're going to be replacing the rear brake pads and rotors on a 2014 Toyota Sienna. I will not be using OEM parts for this job, but I am going to be using original equipment quality brake pads and rotors that meet factory specifications. If you're interested in the exact parts that I'm using, I will have everything listed in the description box below this video. Okay, so what we're going to do is going to take off this caliper, take off the caliper bracket, and then we'll remove the rotor and do the process in reverse. Simple as that. Takes a 14mm wrench. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen that up. If you're a returning subscriber, I appreciate you coming back and watching another video. And if you're new here, I hope this gives you the confidence to tackle your next DIY repair. Most of the content on this channel focuses on simple step-by-step automotive repairs that you can do at home with basic to moderate mechanical skills. Two 14mm bolts, put them aside, slide the caliper off. Now you see this piston has to be retracted back in, so we got a special tool for that. Here's the tool right here. So you see we've got very little space here, this thing's not going to fit here. We'll see if we could go ahead and close it all the way and see if it actually goes in. Alright, so spoiler alert here, it's not going to go in. This tool is actually just a little bit bigger for this type of caliper. You'll see just in the next clip what I'm going to be using. Yeah, it's actually a little too big for this. I'm going to use this channel lock tool. Now, I will also have different types of caliper compression tools that you can use for this particular job and this particular size caliper. There's also other ways that you can compress the caliper so you don't have to go out and buy something that you're only going to use once. My rule of thumb is if you have to use something more than 2 times, you might as well get one so you don't have to use it or borrow it a third time. Got to take care of 2 17mm bolts in the back. That'll remove this caliper bracket off. Now you may be asking why I use a long ratchet. The reason for that is a lot of times these bolts are real tight on there, and having a longer ratchet gives you better leverage, and that's less strength you have to use. Once you break them off loose, you can loosen them up by finger. Okay, those are your 2 17mm bolts. Important tip is don't have your parking brake on, because if you have your parking brake on, there's no way you're going to get this off. There's no way you get the rotor off. So a good test is to turn this by hand. If it turns, then your parking brake is off. So what I do is I take a 12mm bolt, I put it on here, and I just go ahead and turn it. And that's going to separate the rotor from the hub. You hear that? Okay, so now that I put the 2 bolts on here, separated it from there, what you heard was the rust breaking apart and then separating off the hub. So now, if the last person that worked on this didn't over adjust the parking brake, that means that we're going to be able to pull this rotor right off with no problems. If it's over adjusted, what you have to do is take off this plug, stick a screwdriver or something on there, and there's a little gear on there. If you turn it, you could actually back off the clearance from the inside of the drum to the shoe, and you're able to take this off easily. If not, I mean, you're just going to have to work it. But most of the time, it will come right off. It's not going to come off this time, so we're actually going to have to do that. Okay, so this is the side screwdriver I'm going to use. Take that off. And then, you're going to have to find, I got the screwdriver right here. I'm going to go ahead and stick it in here, and you'll see the adjuster in there. What you want to do is, if you can't see it, use a flashlight. I stuck it on there and I'm going to go downwards with it. 1, 2, 3 times. Let's see what that does. There it is, came right off. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. These shoes right here are for the parking brake. What they do is, they pretty much do this. Okay, and they hold the wheel. They hold the entire rotor. Obviously, the wheel attaches to it, so that's what it does. If the clearance is too tight, this thing, you can pull on it all day long, and it won't come off. Okay, so that's why you got to stick a screwdriver through here. And this is the adjuster. I don't know if you can see it from there, but this is the adjuster right here. This actually, if you move it downwards, it'll do this. If you move it upwards, it'll do that. It'll spread. So now we're ready to go ahead and replace the rotor, put our pads back in, and bolt this thing back up, and we should be done. Okay, quick tip. Make sure when you install the rotor back that the access port is facing the same direction where that opening was on the hub. Okay, make sure you put that plug back in, but in this case we're gonna go ahead and put it back after we make the adjustment. So remember how we went 3 clicks down? Well, to me it was already adjusted, so I'm gonna go only 2 clicks up. 1, 2, there, that's enough for me. That should be enough to hold this entire van when you set the parking brake on. Alright, these are the pads. Pop this off. And use that moly brake lube that came with the pads. So that's all you gotta do. Put a little dab on there, spread it, and then put your shim back on. Same thing for the other side. A little bit of lube. You see, this is why they give you only 2 grams of this lube, because it's only, you know, a little dab you're supposed to put on. That prevents a lot of the squealing when you're applying the brakes, when the brakes get real hot. If a brake pad comes with no shims, I mean, I've seen them aftermarket, but these are pretty close to factory brake pads. If they come with no shims, I've seen it where the person hits the brakes and you could hear him coming from a mile away, because those things just squeal real loud. So these are very important, the shims. You want to go ahead and get quality brake pads, because I mean the brake performance is just going to be so much better. You're going to have less brake dust, less noise, and they last longer. I'm going to go ahead and take these pins off, and we're going to lube them up a little bit. Alright, we lube these up a little bit. I'm going to slide them back in. We lube these up because we want the slider pins to go in and out real smooth. That way the braking is a lot better. So I'm going to install this brake caliper back on, which are 17mm bolts.
And I just want to touch back up again on why you should get quality brake pads. Another reason will be better stopping power. They just stop the car faster and more predictably because they have more consistent friction. So in other words, when you're consistently braking when hot, they offer a much better brake performance. They're a lot more quieter, and again, I believe I mentioned that before. You get better pedal feel and modulation. They just give you that smoother engagement. Going back to my dealership days, I will have much fewer comebacks and redos when using the OEM stuff. There would have been times where we have to install customer supply brake pads and they'll just come back with noises. At one point or another, you have to tell them, hey, we just did what you asked us to do.
We're ready to put our brake pads back in.
Installed the customer supply brake pads. So do yourself a favor, spend the extra money and just get better, higher quality brake pads.
And we're ready to put our caliper back on. 14mm bolts.
Now let's talk about one of the most critical steps of the entire brake job, the slide pins. You gotta remove the slide pins and clean all that old grease off.
Last but not least, the plug for the access hole that lets you access the adjuster bolt. And there it is. Now we'll put our wheel back on. Now I do want to say that before you put your wheel back on, or even after you put your wheel back on and you take the car off the jack stands, you want to go ahead and pump the brake pedal about 10 times. And the reason for that is because you just push that piston back in and the hydraulic fluid pretty much got pushed back. So now, whenever you're going to put that car into drive, go and stop, the hydraulic fluid is going to have to travel a lot further. Therefore, the stopping time is actually going to be greater. All you have to worry about is pump the brakes about 10 times, and that is it. How do you do that? Hit the brake with the key on, engine off. That means don't start anything. Get inside the car, pump the brake pedal, let go, pump the brake pedal, let go, pump the brake pedal, let go, and do that for about 10 times. You'll be good to go. Now I'll put our wheel back on.
Alright, so going back to the slide pins, you really got to make sure you do a thorough job cleaning off that old grease. Because if you just install it the way it is, or don't even remove that slide pin at all and just reinstall the brake caliper bracket back on, you may end up with uneven brake pad wear, brake drag, or even brake pull. So you want to use a thin, even coat of high temperature rubber safe grease. If you're not sure what type of grease you should be using, I'll leave that also in the box below this video, so be sure to check that out as well.
Alright, that's it. You're done. Wasn't tough, right?
Alright, so as we begin on the passenger side, let's continue watching the live video, but let's also talk about safety. First things first, you want to make sure the vehicle is parked level on the ground, and if you are doing the rear brakes, yes, most of the times when we set up the car and jack stands, we want to do it with the parking brake set on. If you're doing rear brakes, you want to set that parking brake off. So chuck the front wheels and safely raise the rear of the vehicle, and always support it with the correct size jack stands placed at the proper jacking points for removing the wheels. Safety always comes first, guys. So when you remove the wheel, what I do is I take the wheel off and I place it underneath the vehicle. Kind of another way of taking safety measurements if you want to place it that way. So we begin by removing the caliper with a 14mm wrench or socket, whatever you have. Maybe it's gonna spin on you because caliper slide is moving internally inside the brake caliper, so you may want to hold it with a locking pliers. So as you remove that brake caliper, remember I will have caliper compression tool listed in the box below this video. Don't forget to check that out. I did mention in the beginning part of this video that there's also other ways that you could compress that caliper, and one of the ways is if you have a strong flathead screwdriver that you know is real high quality, it's not going to break on you. What you could do is take that screwdriver, shove it into the caliper and wedge it between the brake pad and the rotor itself, and just start prying it back. As you start prying it back, what you're doing is you're compressing that piston back into the caliper, and once it stops, then your caliper is already compressed, and that is it. You don't have to use any other additional tool to do this. Some other calipers, they require special tools to retract the pistons back in, but this is one of those cars that don't need that. Now once you do that, you remove the old brake pads and take note of how the anti-rattle clips and shims are installed, so that it's easier to fit everything back into your new brake pads. And if the fitting hardware is worn or heavily rusted, it's definitely a good idea to replace it so that you don't have any brake noise or uneven brake pad wear. Once you do that, remove the rotor just the way I show you. You can either use the 12mm bolts that I showed you in the previous clip, or you could beat the living scream out of it. Hopefully you'll break that rust against the hub and the rotor and it'll come off. If you're doing this at home, I hope you don't have any neighbors close by, or at least I hope that they're friendly, because they'll be annoyed with you. Now prior to installing the new rotor, make sure you clean that with brake cleaner real good. It could be non-chlorinated brake clean or chlorinated brake clean. It doesn't matter, as long as you remove some of that oil that they add from the factory. This before they package it so that doesn't create any rust. And after that, just remember the brake slide pin grease is very important. So make sure you use some grease to properly lube that brake slide pins. And then when installing the brake pads, always apply a very thin layer of moly grease to the back of the brake pads where they contact the shims, so that this helps reduce with the noise and vibration when the brakes are applied. And obviously when you install everything back, one of the most important things to do that a lot of people don't talk about, you won't hear a lot, is torque your wheels to factory specs. You just install brand new rotors in your vehicle and you don't want 2 or 3 lug nuts to be over torqued more than the other 2. In other words, having 3 torqued at 130 foot-pounds and the other ones at 70 foot-pounds, because guess what you're gonna have? You're gonna have brake pulsation. So make sure that all lug nuts are torqued properly, remove your jack stands, and pump your brake pedal about 10 times before you even start the car. Once you start the car, go test your brakes and happy braking. I hope that this video was informative. I hope it was helpful. If you feel like you took some benefit from it, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I really hope that this gives you absolute confidence to tackle this brake job for yourself. Thanks for educating yourself, making progress. Best to you.